Hello. A little over a year ago, I endeavored to make one of the most ambitious video ideas that I had had yet, which leads us to this video. A video born out of a mistake. I have to recreate my longest cocktail video that I have made with an entire brand new set of 10 drinks. Do you understand the pressure I'm under? God, I'm drunk. But I'm not in the mindset to have better ideas. Starting to sound like me on a Friday night. After this, Axel is my sworn enemy. Mwah. Drinking Hakka slime. I have to cut that. Hello. A little over a year ago, this channel took a drastic turn as I endeavored to make one of the most ambitious and out there video ideas that I had had yet. And of course, that video was making cocktails for all of Holostars EN. A video that you all received exceptionally well, and in so doing, not only changed the course of this channel, but also in many ways, the course of my life. What started as an impromptu new hobby has become an extreme passion, something that I truly love doing. And for that, I would like to start by saying thank you. Over the course of the past year, I have learned a lot about cocktails, about mixology, about liquor, and so looking back at the original, if I'm being honest, it's kind of hard not to be a little disappointed. Looking back, so many of those cocktails, I could do so much better, I could have such more creative ideas, which leads us to this video. A video born out of a mistake. You see, one night I was drunk, a not too uncommon occurrence, and decided to tweet, if at least one Holostar follows me, I will remake the entire original video and let them have a say in what I make for them. I thought that that tweet would die in obscurity, as most of my drunk tweets do. Emphasis on I thought. And now here we are, with at least 3 Holostars following me. I have to recreate my longest and most involved cocktail video that I have made to date, with an entire brand new set of 10 drinks. Just for reference, it is May, and I haven't made 10 new drinks this year. So you all have these 3 to thank for that. With this involving 10 cocktails, I'm going to try my best to keep this as concise as I can. So please forgive me if I don't go as in depth into how I came up with each one, or spend so long explaining how each one tastes. And as such, I am also going to be recording these over the course of several different days. I'm sorry, I can't drink 10 cocktails in one day. If we're being honest, I haven't even come up with all 10 of them at the time of recording this first session. So they're also going to be in a completely random order. I promise you there are no biases to it. It is just what I have the ingredients for / have figured out at the time of each segment. I'm trying my absolute best to truly do each one of these justice because I have pride in this now. This isn't some one-off idea. This is me really kind of having to prove that I did learn over the course of this year. And as one last note before we begin, much like the first video, this is probably gonna be one of the most expensive ones I've done in a while. So please like, comment, subscribe to all of the YouTube things. It would be very much appreciated. And if you become a member, you will get all of the recipes in this video in the much more convenient Steve Sakai cocktail guide. So without further ado, let's get so drunk that we start seeing stars. Up first is the Machina X Flayon. Like I said, this is a very random order. There is no rhyme or reason to it. Please don't try to think of any. This is just what I can do when I can do it. Also, yes, I was taking extensive notes on all of them. I tried to take this as seriously as it is possible to take a cocktail video about VTubers. What the fuck is my life? The Flayon naturally was an idea mostly born out of trying to take some of his lore ideas and put them together, as well as the idea that, mostly because of the sweet vermouth and the slightly cherry flavor, when I think of red, I think of a Manhattan. A Manhattan isn't really red. Again, I guess it's just the sweet vermouth that comes to mind. But in the spirit of both of those things, I decided to take 2 drinks with names that very much fit the Flayon style bravado, but when put together start to match more of that deep, dark self-doubt that is present in his works like X. And so by taking the improved whiskey cocktail and the perfect Manhattan, we bring them together to the Machina X Flayon, the imperfect Manhattan. I needed ice. Fuck. Now, while calling a drink perfect is a bit bold, a perfect Manhattan is simply a Manhattan made with sweet and dry vermouth. Meanwhile, an improved whiskey cocktail, I have forgotten the ingredients of. This is Imbibe by David Wondridge. If you follow other mixology channels, this is most certainly not the first time you have seen or heard this book. If you haven't bought it yet, you definitely should. It is incredibly fascinating, a very fun read, and will be very heavily referenced in another video remake I might be doing. Wink wink, nudge nudge, please subscribe. There are a few drinks in this video that also kind of pull from this. I guess this kind of takes from the fancy and the improved cocktail. Oh well, it's a good drink, that's what matters. We are going to start, as any good Manhattan should, with 2 ounces of rye whiskey. I am once again using Knob Creek rye because it is good, it is not very expensive, and I like it. I don't know what else to tell you. And now, as we discussed, instead of doing an ounce of sweet vermouth, we are going to do half an ounce, as well as half an ounce of our dry vermouth. We're going to get to the bitters later. I want to think about which one I want to use first. For these next 2 steps, I'm not going to be using the bottles themselves. I've got them in these smaller glass vials because they have these little tops, and I only want a dash of Luxardo and a dash of Curacao. Those kind of felt like small dashes. Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna throw in a second dash of each one. Let's see. Yeah, I think my original idea was right. We are going to add 2 dashes of Black Walnut Bitters. Give all that a stir. Where's my martini glass? I feel like I'm going too fast, and then I remember that was the point. Go ahead and strain that into our martini glass. And to represent our adorable little room, we're going to add a Luxardo cherry. Go ahead and let some of that syrup get in there too. In fact, I'm gonna pour a little more in, just because I like it. And there you have your Machina X Flayon, the Imperfect Manhattan. Don't let that name fool you. That is so good. I love this drink. I may or may not have tried the 2 drinks we're recording tonight on stream last night. By the way, I stream just about every Friday, so you should come check that out as well. They're really good. That is more than the sum of its parts. The things you're gonna get the most out of it are gonna be the effortless dance between the 2 vermouths. Every time you think, oh, that's the sweet vermouth, it turns dry. And every time you start to go, that's the dry vermouth, it turns sweet. The whiskey is the dance floor to those 2. As they spin around each other, the whiskey is holding it all up. The Luxardo and the Cointreau are the tuxedos or dresses that are adding the flair to the entire performance, as the Black Walnut is the music that ties it all together, gives it the context. It's not the focus by any means, but without it, well, I mean, it'd be pretty awkward to watch 2 people dancing in dead silence. I love just about everything about that drink. It is sweet enough to still be a Manhattan, while starting to become dry enough to make you think of a martini. The Luxardo is this nice tartness in there that I think I had a little too much yesterday because I dashed it straight from the bottle and too much got in there, so it started to dominate a little bit. But just with those 2 small dashes, it doesn't try to steal the show anymore. It lets those 2 vermouths really start to embody one another and really showcase what makes each one unique. I am in love with that cocktail, as apparently many of the rooms are with Flayon. And you know what? Mad respect. I don't remember exactly what I said about Flayon's design in the last video, but it was probably inappropriate. The last drink I made for Flayon, I should have said this at the start, was the Red-Headed Bombshell, that ginger-infused grenadine cherry vodka shot in the limeade. That drink was really, really good. I still think about that one quite a bit, but filtering all that through grated ginger takes obviously a long time, and I don't know if it's really worth it if you weren't having like a party where you could do it all in advance. It's a really nice flashy drink that also tastes really good. It's not really the kind of thing that you would make for a bar or have casually at home by yourself. This very much is. This is much more of a proper cocktail. It really showcases every element inside. I think it does a much better job thematically of representing Flayon. I tried pretty hard at that. I still like the idea of the little rune at the bottom. I don't know, I thought that was cute, and it's also just a good excuse to have a Luxardo cherry, and I will always take an excuse to have a Luxardo cherry. delivery, while also being admittedly a little bit more of a mature drink. I don't know if the casual party goer is gonna enjoy an Imperfect Manhattan. Granted, this is kind of true for a normal Manhattan or a martini. Maybe not the martini. A lot of people order a martini at a party. But a Manhattan is where you start to get more into that fancier cocktail. You're sitting down when you're having that. And I think this is much more in that territory. Also, just for context, I'm recording this on the day of the Kentucky Derby. So I may have already tasted a little bourbon beforehand, if you couldn't tell. And also, I lost $30 gambling. So this video started in the hole. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And it goes to show you just how much I enjoy this, that it has been less than 20 minutes and I've already downed most of this drink. I think this is just a really fun blend of two cocktails that have clearly withstood the test of time. These two alternate reality versions of a whiskey cocktail and bringing them together into one. It's just a really fun take on the lore of Machina X Flayon. I'm already tipsy and I gotta record a whole other drink after this. I'm gonna finish this one. I'm not about to just not do that. It's too good. So final takeaway, the Machina X Flayon, the Imperfect Manhattan, is obviously delicious. I wouldn't be presenting it to you and constantly praising it this way if I didn't think so. That being said, I don't think it is a drink for the faint of heart. If you are newer to drinking, if you still really like your sugary drinks, obviously there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't think you will like this yet. As your palate evolves, which sounds much more disparaging than I want it to, but unfortunately that is just the way to phrase it. As you start to like more tart, more dry, more burn, all of that stuff, this is something to definitely come back to then. If you are already there, if you already love a Manhattan or a proper martini with the dry vermouth in it, I am still very adamant about that. I will die on that hill. Then you will probably start to like this. This is one of those more advanced drinks for the geniuses of mixology. That's another Flayon reference for you. God, I'm drunk. Bottom line, thank you Flayon, I love you. Oh, it was wanting to eat sushi off of his tummy. That's what I said last time. I may or may not stand by that one. Oh God, we have 9 more to go. Here's the next drink. Up next is the Josuiji Shinri. The Josuiji Shinri. Fuck, my battery's about to die. Up next is the Josuiji Shinri. Shinri was one of the ones that actually did follow me, and so I was able to ask, hey, what kind of stuff do you like to drink? Thankfully, he mentioned something that I'm actually a pretty big fan of. Bulleit Bourbon. Bulleit is a bourbon that I think is pretty good, especially for the price range. I'm a big fan of their rye as well. And so I got excited when he mentioned Bulleit for a number of reasons. The first of which being that my original idea was to recreate the original Josuiji Shinri, as if you saw my top 5 cocktails from 2024 video, won my #1 bourbon/whiskey drink, aka my #1 drink of last year, but was also a drink that I said that I think I could do better, and I still want to do better, and probably will do better using what I'm going to use for this drink. But when he followed me and I messaged him, that suddenly started to feel like a really lame idea to just remake the original one, and that being the only drink in this video that is a remade version of the original one. So I came up with a different idea, and it's an idea that I still think and know perhaps is just as good. Because, reason number 2, when I was originally supposed to move restaurants and was working on the cocktail list for that one, we wanted to make an old-fashioned using an orange simple syrup. And I decided that Bulleit was the right decision for that. I think Bulleit works exceptionally well with an orange simple syrup. And if you remember the original Josuiji Shinri, that used orange simple syrup, as well as blueberry syrup. And so my idea for the new one was, why use 2 when 1 would do? And so I made an orange and blueberry simple syrup. And for those of you who want to make this at home, it is exceptionally easy, as is making any flavored simple syrup. This one is a 2-to-1, so that is 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. I put the peels of a whole orange in here, as well as a few cut up blueberries. Let those heat up and sit with those in there, strain it, and here we are. It's very easy, it's very tasty. I probably should have used a cheesecloth though, because there's some particulates in here that probably fine. If I die, fuck it, who cares, I guess. And so Bulleit, with this idea that I already had of making an orange blueberry simple syrup, aces, 10 out of 10. I was very, very happy that it happened to work out that way, because I knew that this was going to work well in here. And so with those in mind, I decided not to make another old fashioned, but instead a whiskey sour. First, we need ice. Then we need 2 ounces of bourbon. And I don't feel too bad about telling you to use specifically this one because it's not that expensive. And it works really well. There are other bourbons and whiskeys that could work just as well, but that one's pretty cheap, so it's easy to tell you to use it. And now I'm going to make this pretty gosh darn sweet with 3/4 of an ounce of my orange and blueberry simple syrup. I really want the flavor in there. That's why I'm using so much. And here comes the weird part. A whiskey sour is typically made with lemon juice, but I discovered that I really like whiskey sours made with lime juice. I love when lime and orange go together. It works really, really well. That's what happens in a margarita. If you are a true Steve Sky fan, you know about the shikwasha fruit, which is a fruit that's only in Okinawa that tastes like orange and lime together. It's really gosh darn good. And so I'm gonna make my whiskey sour with 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. That was just about all the lime juice I had in here. This is a thing that I don't think is impossible to find. And if you live in most states, you can likely get this shipped to you via sites like Curiata, not a sponsor, but I know that they do have this. And that would be Amaro di Angostura. That is right, Angostura. I can't stop saying it weird now. Angostura makes an Amaro. And shocker, it's really gosh darn good. It tastes like an Amaro full of Angostura. Kind of smells like a Coca-Cola with Angostura in it, honestly. If you can't get your hands on this, I think you could probably just go with 4 to 6 dashes of Angostura, or maybe 2 to 4 with a 1/4 ounce of Averna Amaro, I think would go well in here. So we're gonna go ahead and use a 1/2 ounce of this Amaro di Angostura. But if you can get your hands on this, it's well worth it. And it's not crazy expensive. And now we're gonna go ahead and shake. Don't mind me as I strain this out. Dump my ice. We are going to do a bit of a reverse dry shake, which is obviously you shake it cold first, then add your egg whites. Let's see if drunk me can do this. I think I nailed that. Now we do our dry shake. And I'm not saying this is the ideal glass to do this in, I'm just doing it in reference to the first whiskey sour that I made on the channel, which was the Happy Sorrow, in which it happened to look like a perfectly painted beer. The drink's not tall enough for this glass. Well, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this. Hold on. Mixology is like improv. Nobody likes the people who do it. I wish I had a fruit to garnish this with, but I forgot to buy another orange or lime. So garnish it with an orange or a lime wedge if you feel like it. And there you have your Josuiji Shinri. Shit, I should have thought of a name. We'll figure it out as I'm going. God bless. That is... that is so good. Fuck. I love this cocktail so much. This is one that is much more than the sum of its parts. And when each part is as good as it is, that says a lot. Ooh, ooh. It's not that sour, but it kind of creeps up at you at the very end there. It is sweet up front. That's where a lot of the orange and the blueberry and the Bulleit come in. And then the Amaro di Angostura really fills in that middle part. It comes up loud. And if you love Angostura as much as I do, that is not a problem. That is a wonderful, beautiful note right in the middle. And then it calms down and gives way into that whiskey sour flavor, but that lime juice whiskey sour flavor that, again, I'm very partial to. I know I'm weird for liking a lime juice whiskey sour, but I'm not gonna apologize for it because I think it's better. I don't know what to tell you. That, unfortunately, is an evolution on what I originally did. I think the original Josuiji Shinri, the Ronin, it was the first cocktail I ever made, and I think is still so good for being a blind guess at a drink. It being the first idea I had a lot of different family members try it because we were all together at the time, and a lot of them were like, damn, yeah, that is really, really good. And so I took a lot of pride in that. It is something that for a long time I wanted to remake and do justice. But in no way am I disappointed that I'm not doing that here. Because what I've made here, I'm in love with. It is a drink that I could have just about every single night and never get tired of. I had it last night and I'm still not tired of it. It is a mixture of flavors that I adore. It is Angostura, it is orange, it is blueberry, it is lime, it is Bulleit, all blended together into this seamless stream of flavor. When I say seamless, I really do mean it. There is a ramp of flavor up from the initial sweetness to the Amaro, but it's not a jump. It's not a sudden and violent punch. It is this exciting roller coaster-esque ramp up and down through these beautiful, beautiful flavors. And I would like to make this clear, it's not abrasive. When I say exciting, it's exciting to me because I really like it. But it is a drink that you can sit down with. It is a drink that I think would be widely accessible outside of a party context. This isn't something you want to get at the club, but it is something that I think a lot of people could enjoy at a restaurant, sitting with their friends at home. I think this is something you want to relax with. That deep, sweet flavor that may or may not be reminiscent of Josuiji Shinri, if I do say so myself. Oh, what to call that? Taking the name The Ronin was so perfect for the first one. I'm mad I can't do it now. I love everything about this drink. The sweet nothing. I don't know why, but that feels right. I can't explain it to you, but the sweet nothing just feels right. Because it is sweet, but it's also bitter, and it's also sour. And it's reminiscent of that deep Shinri voice without being as dark and bitter as you think it is. The way he is, that sweetness behind him. This is weird. I've messaged this man and I'm saying these words, but here we are. Here's my one recommendation to anyone watching. Please don't drink a lot and appear on camera, because you're gonna say some weird shit. When you hear the phrase whispering sweet nothings to someone, you have that feeling of it is nice in the moment, it is pleasant, but there is a nefariousness to it, in a sense. And there's not a nefariousness to this outside of you getting very drunk, but it does belie that idea that this is a sour. It is a bitter drink at the same time because of the Amaro. So it is sweet nothing. It starts that way, and as you progress through the night, you begin to understand and embody everything that those words were leading you towards. This is the Josuiji Shinri, aka the Sweet Nothing. A drink whose charms I have absolutely fallen for. Bulleit, I think, is absolutely the right call. If you cannot find it, some side recommendations. You want to go pricier? I think the Nikka Coffee Grain Whiskey, the Japanese whiskey that I used in the original Ronin, would go pretty well here. It has a nice orangey taste to it. You might not go amiss with Old Forester, because this is very sweet, has a lot of those kind of fruity flavors to it. In my opinion, I know some people don't get it, but I don't think you'd go awry using this. I don't think it'd be as good, mind you, but Old Forester may be a tad more available. Bourbon and whiskey is the one thing that I really do feel like you can listen to my recommendation on in terms of which one to use. I'll admit, gin, tequila, rum, as much as I enjoy rum, I start to lose my powers of my palate. I don't know them all as well. I haven't had as many as I have whiskey and bourbon, just from the nature of where I live. It's very easy for me to get whiskey and bourbon here. It's very easy for me to have tried a lot of them. And so that's where I can say, please listen to me. If you can get your hands on Bulleit, this drink kind of evolved around this specific flavor, and I highly, highly recommend it. Does that mean that this drink will be bad with other bourbons? Probably not. I can't think off the top of my head a lot of bourbons that would be bad here, because the lime juice and the simple and the Angostura really do take over a lot of the flavor. But this really sets the stage for them in a way that I can't see too many others doing so. And there you go. That is delicious. I'm drunk. And I need to stop recording for the night. Also because my SD card is about to run out of storage space. I almost said thank you for watching. Thank you for watching though. But there's still 8 more drinks to go. You're not ending the video here, hopefully. Who knows what I'm recording next? Who knows when I'm recording next? I'm a very busy guy. I'm supposed to work the next 3 nights. So who fucking knows at this point? All I know is I'm in love with this beverage. I think I also said some inappropriate things about Shinri in the past in a video that he also watched. Why did he follow me after all of that? Thank you, Shinri, for doing so. After anything I might have said, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was something about the hair being down. Look, I never expect any of them to watch these videos, and it's so hard knowing that 3 of them are waiting for this one, and most of them watched the last one. Do you understand the pressure I'm under? Imagine your Ope-shi. Anything you say about your Ope-shi might be seen. They very well could hear it. You're probably gonna start to watch your words more and feel very bad about the words you've said before. Alright, see you when I'm way more sober. Hopefully. Mwah. And poof, just like that, I'm sober. And I'm wearing purple, which can only mean one thing. Tonight is the night of our 2 purple boys, Banzoin Hakka and Gavis Bettel. I don't know why I'm spoiling both of the next 2 already, but it felt apropos. And also, we're just gonna have to get straight into this first one because there is hot water involved, and I don't know how long this will keep it hot. This was the first drink that I came up with. Actually, it might be the second. It was the first one I wrote down because Hakka asked me to base the drink on his new song at the time of recording, Omen of Crows. Which is, and this is true, a banger. And you should go listen to it. But listening to it and thinking about crows, my mind jumped to one specific drink from that book, Imbibe, which for some reason I didn't bring in here this time, called Blackstrap. It is very likely you've heard the term Blackstrap before, usually with Blackstrap rum, which is made from Blackstrap molasses. And so, shocker, this drink uses black rum and molasses. But I didn't just want it to be pitch black. I wanted it to invoke that kind of shiny black, the way that if you are up close to a crow or one of their feathers, it starts to have this sheen that almost makes it look more purple, like someone else we might know. And so thinking about what would go really well with those dark, rich flavors of black rum and molasses, I thought of blackberry. Yes, this is the Blackberry Puree I stole from work. That's why I don't have a full bottle of it. But we won't need that much, so it's fine. And like I said, we're in a little bit of a rush because the outside of this is already starting to feel cold. So let's get straight into it. Now, as one usually does with a toddy style drink, we're just gonna build this straight into the glass. Start with 2 ounces of black rum. Black strap usually are kind of interchangeable. Not every black rum is a black strap rum. You probably want to avoid a black spiced rum. From what I could find, Gosling's black rum is more or less a black strap rum. It's fine. Next we're gonna do about a bar spoon of molasses. And then we'll start with 1 bar spoon of the blackberry. Stir it up a little bit. Never mind. We're upping it to 2 bar spoons of blackberry. And then add a couple ounces of hot water. Probably a bit taller than a classic black strap, but that's fine. We're just gonna top it with a little ground nutmeg. This is a very large lemon wedge, but we're gonna garnish it with a lemon wedge. And there you have your Banzoin Hakka, your Omen of Crows. Oh man, that's real good. That is just wonderfully rich and so flavorful. I'm curious. I'm just gonna do it this way first, hold on. There was enough on there that I could tell. Oh, yes, yes. So before it was very rich and dark and wonderful. It was all that warm, lovely, dark flavor of black rum, of molasses, of blackberry, very bassy and bodied and exactly what you'd want to drink when you're sick or it's very cold outside. Unfortunately, it's not cold outside and I'm wearing this big sweater and there's no AC in here, so I'm warming up very quickly. Also, this did not do a fantastic job of keeping the water that hot, but it's still warm enough that I like it. Those are all things that are my fault, not the drink's fault. Now the lemon is really pulling it more into that hot toddy territory that, oh, I'm sick and I want something warm to kind of clear me up. The next time I get sick, I'm probably gonna make this because it's just so nice and welcoming. Much like, and I'm very happy to say this, Banzoin Hakka. Genuinely a really nice guy. I'm very happy I got the chance to talk to him even a little bit. Just so sweet, very complimentary, which is not something I get a lot in my life. So, it was very much appreciated. Thank you, Hakka. I told myself I wasn't gonna drink all of the ones tonight because last time might have been a little too much after streaming the night before and also getting drunk then. I took the next 3 days off of drinking because I was just so sick of being drunk. And I told myself no matter how much I like the drinks in the other sections, I'm not gonna finish them. I'm gonna be responsible. I might be going back on my word. I'm shooting off fireworks. It is May 7th. There's nothing worth shooting off fireworks for. Anyways, this is so exceptionally easy to drink. You don't taste liquor at all. That black rum is just melding with the molasses and the blackberry into such a smooth flavor. This is a dessert drink. When wintertime rolls around, you should absolutely have this stuff ready. It will make any night feel better. It will make you feel better if you have a little cold, if you're a little sniffly. I'm not a doctor. Generally, you probably shouldn't drink alcohol when you're sick, but it hasn't stopped people for centuries, so why should it stop you? It's starting to feel like a cider. It's very sweet like apple cider, but it's that rich, sugary feeling with a pungent molasses flavor. The lemon adds this very nice bright note that really brings the whole drink up. I really highly recommend squeezing that in or putting in just a dash of lemon juice. Just something that really counteracts all of the richness. Really helps it go from being perhaps maybe too overpowering and sweet for some people. To me, it was already delicious. This just makes it more delicious. Okay, hold on. Let me remind myself of the lyrics for Omen of Crows. It's reminding me of the song, don't get me wrong. I made it to do that. You got the lyrics? Omen, Omen, in hymns, O Lord. A chorus lays with blessing or a curse obscure. Banger song. Just go listen to it. My Japanese is very rusty. So that part probably should have looked up. I'm sorry. I just noticed that part of the lyrics just say Screamo Break. That's fucking incredible. Burning mark is carved in my soul and it's lost control. The descent has begun, a fate to concede. What have I done? What have I freed? That is me every time I drink. The curse consumes what's left of me and sinks into eternity. That's just starting to sound like me on a Friday night. The drink I made for Hakka last time was the Tengu Mule. It was Suntory Toki in a mule with a little bit of pomegranate juice, I believe it was. If I had known better at the time, which I didn't, again, I had barely started getting into cocktails, I probably would have made a Dark and Stormy, which I then later did for, oh, what's her name? I made 2 Genshin drinks, and they were both Dark and Stormies with grape juice and pomegranate juice. She was similarly a purple Tengu-themed character, so I tried to redeem myself there. Either way, last time I said, I will never forget this line. Like a twink singing heavy metal, it's spicy. And I won't forget it because I remember Hakka quoting it on stream and feeling so bad. But I think this fits him a lot better. He's very rich and dark in flavor in that kind of corruption metal style way. But it is also very sweet and bright and happy, much like Hakka himself. I'm incredibly happy with this drink. It is extraordinarily wonderful. Thank you, Hakka, for being so nice as to inspire a drink this sweet, because I wasn't already on the road to diabetes enough, I guess. Because you will always fill our hearts with warmth. Remember that part when I said I wasn't gonna finish the drinks? Oh, there was a lot of thick stuff at the end there. Oh, it was all sitting at the bottom. Drinking Hakka's slime. I have to cut that. That can't stay in the video. Moving right along to Gavis Bettel. Now, thanks to the kind people of the internet, and assuming they're not all lying to me, I was able to find out that Bettel's favorite cocktail is an amaretto sour, which is basically just a whiskey sour, but with mostly amaretto and a little bit of bourbon, and that he also likes rum. And if you should have learned anything with the Josuiji Shinri, it's that a sour can absolutely be made with lime juice. And so the idea was pretty instant and obvious. What is a daiquiri if not just a rum sour? It's rum, lime juice, and simple syrup. That's a sour. And so there's not really much to pontificate on here. The Gavis Bettel is an amaretto daiquiri, which, if I'm being quite honest, sounds pretty fucking good. First I need ice, which I always fail to get before starting recording. And next, we are going to do 1.5 ounces of amaretto. And for those of you who don't know, amaretto is an almond liqueur. Bitter almonds and tender apricots. But it kind of smells like maraschino cherries. And kind of tastes like them too. 3/4 ounce of white rum. Woo, fuck. A full ounce, oh god, a full ounce of lime juice. What is it about Bettel that I can't make his drinks without spilling shit everywhere? Oh, speaking of that, apparently I can't make a Gavis Bettel without shit going wrong. For example, I just found out that my simple syrup had finally developed some mold, and I don't have time to go make some and still get this recording done in a timely manner tonight. So we're gonna take some inspiration from another sour that goes by a different name, the Margarita, and use some agave. We're gonna start with 1/2 ounce and then give this all a shake. And now I would use an egg white, but I only had that one egg for the Josuiji Shinri, and given the price of eggs right now, I'm not gonna buy an entire carton for one more drink. So, there's gonna be no foam head. Sorry. Little more ice will do it. Oh my god. That's really good. Garnish it with a lime wedge. Di amore amaretto. Di amore amaretto. Di amore amaretto. I don't know if it's Italian or Japanese I'm doing at this point, but... And there you have your Gavis Bettel, the Amaretto Daiquiri. Oh! Holy shit! That's fucking delicious. That is so good. It is very sour. The Amaretto, if you haven't had it, it's a lot like maraschino cherries. It's got a lot of that kind of flavor to it. Oh, the lime juice is so beautifully sour before the cherry kind of eases the pain. It's not pain, it's really, really nice. But that sour pain, kind of like a Sour Patch Kid. Let's put it that way. It's sour, it's sweet, and then it's gone. Because unlike a Sour Patch Kid, where it's just the feeling of sour, and then you get a nice sweet flavor, it is that lime sour that you know I love. I love it in a margarita. I love it controversially in my whiskey sours. And here, it just works, because it's just a daiquiri with amaretto in it. Is this my most original idea? No. Is it one of my best? Probably. If you are someone who loves a nice, sweet amaretto sour, holy shit, you should absolutely make this. The way that flavor changes is so fascinating. Because like I keep saying, it's all lime up front, but I keep forgetting to mention the way it eases into that nice amaretto finish. Cherry Starburst. I keep saying maraschino cherry. It's like a cherry starburst. That's the kind of flavor I'm getting from it. I wish I had maraschino cherries to garnish it with. I forgot to buy some. Now, when you think of a daiquiri, a lot of people also tend to think of a blended daiquiri, which calls to mind the blender stream that a lot of people mentioned. But I'm already gonna have to blend a different drink for this video, and that's one drink too many in my opinion. So, I'm gonna take the pleasure where I can. There's nothing bad in there. There's nothing unpleasant. There's nothing I could even say I dislike. Would I have it every night? Probably not. It is very sweet. It's very much a treat of a drink in my humble opinion. But as many of you know, I drink neat bourbon most nights. So a lot of stuff is gonna be too sweet for me on the average occasion. But if I were at a restaurant, if I were at a club, if I were at a party, if I were with friends, in just about any other occasion, I would be more than happy to down several of these. I have an idea. 2 dashes of rhubarb bitters. God, I'm a genius! That ties the whole thing together. I didn't think it could get better, and it just did. The rhubarb tames that lime juice start that I was talking about and eases and lengthens that transition into the amaretto at the end. Oh, that is so wonderful. Updated recipe, do the rhubarb bitters. That is so much better. That is a beautiful cocktail. If any drink shows my evolution, it is the difference between the original Gavis Bettel and this one. It was a hyper sweet, super sugary vodka drink, which if you've seen any of my recent endeavors, you know I would not be able to take more than 3 sips of before I'd go, I'm gonna feel very sick. That was the kind of drink that I had had all the time well before I started this journey. And this is about as sweet as I could probably go these days and still be happy. Which isn't to say it's too sweet for me. Like I said, it's very much kind of a treat. It's like having a scoop of ice cream or a slice of chocolate cake. Because cocktails are meant to be sweet. They are meant to be a liquid candy that you enjoy, best used socially while having a good time. That is the point of a cocktail. When you picture someone sad, you don't picture them drinking a martini or a Manhattan. Because a cocktail is meant to be a fun thing, a happy thing, something that makes you feel good, much like a jester would. This is admittedly one of the least thematically themed ones, because it is kind of just literally a drink for Bettel. This is a drink for him, because he likes amaretto sours. I've hit 4 for 4 so far, and I am very much not mad at that. I hope I can keep the streak going. I really like a lot of the ideas I have. If I said the Flayon was very much an advanced drink, this is very much the beginner one. This is very much an accessible, sweet, wonderful piece of candy. I also said there was no order to these, and then somehow did all of Vanguard in a row. I swear to God that wasn't intentional. And I'm also gonna finish this one. I've lied to you. It's just too good. If you can get your hands on them, the rhubarb bitters are 1000% the call. They're a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful addition. If you can't, you're still not gonna go wrong. You'll have a little bit more of an abrasive sour flavor up front, which obviously I don't think is bad. I still very, very much enjoyed it. It's just different. It's a different drinking experience. Again, both are great. If you can't get your hands on the rhubarb, that is more than fine. The drink is still phenomenal. If you can, it turns a 10 out of 10 into an 11 out of 10. And hey, despite moldy simple syrup and a little bit of spillage, this isn't nearly as much of a disaster as the last time I tried to make a drink for Bettel. So thanks, Bettel. You got good taste, and no one can take that from you. Now here's a fun fact for you. When I first made that tweet, I didn't even think one was gonna follow me, let alone two. And I especially didn't think one was gonna call me a bitch, and the other one was gonna tell me to eat shit. But here we are. Yes, this is the Axel Syrios. Now, if he is your Ope-shi and you were hoping for some intricate, well thought out, thematic cocktail, I'm sorry, that's not happening. Because Axel told me exactly what to make for him. A strawberry milkshake with maggots and piss and shit. So that's what we're gonna do. I'd just like to show off that I do have the wonderful Axel and Altair rocks glasses. This motherfucker has been sitting in the background of my videos for the past 7 months. And this is how I'm repaid. There's a giant mayfly in here. Jesus, bud. But I'm not gonna get to use them. Could you fit a milkshake in here? I can't. For those of you who don't know what this is a reference to, I envy you, and therefore I'm not going to tell you. But what you can do is go down to the description. I'll put a link to the clip that explains the origins to this whole awful milkshake. Viewer discretion is advised. I just need to start this. Now, are we actually going to make a strawberry milkshake? Yes. Is it going to have maggots and piss and shit? I'm sure you know the answer is no, but we're gonna come as close as we can. First off, if you were expecting a recipe for a milkshake, I'm sorry, I don't have one. What I do have is this frozen milkshake. Oh, this is a smoothie. Shit. Smoothie's close enough. This is a strawberry smoothie mix from a local deli. They make wonderful smoothies. To be a milkshake, just add vanilla ice cream. Alright, I'll go buy fucking vanilla ice cream. So I was just about to resign myself to going to Target to get some ice cream, but thankfully, for some reason, my grandmother had several different tubs of vanilla ice cream. Everybody say thank you. And this one's only minorly freezer burned. Oh, I need all that stuff back out. Damn it! Oh, my milk's in my house. Okay, but for real this time. Let's fucking make this milkshake, god damn it. Again, I don't have an exact recipe for a milkshake. If you have dedicated yourself to the point of making this milkshake, you probably already know how or can easily Google how to make a strawberry milkshake. Scoop of ice cream. Now I may be dumb, but I can't see a reason that a smoothie mix shouldn't also work for a milkshake. What's in this? Strawberries, bananas, pineapples, grapes, and low-fat vanilla yogurt. So I assume that should be fine. Whoa, yeah. Oh. It like breaks some of it off. How do I do this? I thought this was gonna be the easiest part of tonight. I don't have a real sized blender. I thought my nice personal sized blender would be perfect for this kind of thing. Oh god, I'm starting to bend my bar spoon. Do I need a knife? I'm cutting a smoothie right now. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna blend this a little bit, just to kind of make more room. The container said 6 ounces of orange juice. That would be for a smoothie, so I'm assuming for a milkshake, well, we're adding alcohol, so I'm gonna say 5 ounces of milk. So we're gonna do 2.5, break this down, put the rest in. Again, I thought this was gonna be the easiest one. The blades are blocked. Oh! The blender's battery died. I'll be right back. Okay, the blender is now on life support, so let's see if we can get this done. No! Well, while that charges, I might as well explain what the rest of the drink is gonna be. Strawberry milkshake. That part, self-explanatory. The maggots. Again, obviously we're not using real maggots. But what are maggots? Well, maggots are fly larvae that are small, legless, and somewhat worm-like. And you know what mezcal has? The worm. The mezcal worm is actually a moth larva that is also tiny, legless, and worm-like, hence why it's called the mezcal worm. Therefore, that's our maggots. Piss and shit? Again, we're not doing that. But caramel looks and tastes like piss, and chocolate syrup looks like shit. So there you go. It's a strawberry milkshake with mezcal with a little bit of caramel and chocolate syrup on top. Strawberry milkshake with baguettes and piss and shit. We did it. Again, sort of, kind of. Look, you at home are not allowed to complain. I'm doing the thing as best as I reasonably can. Are you work yet? Fuck. Alright, new plan. We're gonna set this to the side. We're gonna make the Crimzon Ruze in the meantime, cause what the fuck else am I supposed to do right now? And this does kind of harken back to the original, the way I had to make the Tengu Mule while waiting for the Flayon cherry bomb shot thing that I was doing. So there you go. More callbacks, sorta, kind of. Okay, the Crimzon Ruze. I loved the name the Crimzon Ruze so much last time, but admittedly, that was one of the drinks that I was the least proud of. In theory, it sounded like a great idea. In practice, I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And so it ended up mostly as a kind of disaster and a shitty margarita. So, we're not gonna do a margarita this time. For Ruze, I wanted to focus on that kind of idea of the gap moe, or in his case, the canyon moe, between that really strong personality and the very cutesy kind of demeanor. So with all of that and Crimzon on the brain, I came up with an idea for a Cosmo-inspired drink, a cosmopolitan typically being a feminine-coded drink. I went on a whole rant on gender and drinks when I was making the Iris Cosmopolitan, which I had misread as his Cosmopolitan. Again, look at that font. Can you blame me? And so I ended up calling it her Cosmopolitan, blah, blah, blah. I think gender and drinks is dumb. Drink what you want. If you want a neat bourbon, drink it. If you want a sugary drink, drink it. Don't let someone shame you for enjoying what you love. And in that sphere, Crimzon Ruze. He has that very brash, rash, loud personality, but with that canyon moe of loving cutesy things, loving his little bug Pokemon. It's great. And I love him and I respect him for it. And I wanted to honor that with a beverage for him. And I forgot ice again. We'll start with the parts that are still pretty Cosmo inspired. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. And because I really want it to be red, we're gonna up that to 3/4 of an ounce of cranberry cocktail. Cranberry juice, whatever you wanna call it, it doesn't matter. Not the mezcal. The mezcal doesn't go in this. What does go in this is 1/2 ounce of Cointreau. And then I'm going to split the base. We're gonna see if this works. I hope it does. This fucking cork is so hard to get out, I swear to God. There we go. 1 ounce of a spiced rum. God, that does smell like oranges. Wow, I was really right on the Shinri. 1 ounce of bourbon. Shake it up. Strain it out. Again, it ended up more pink than crimson, but you get the idea. It's like almost exactly the same color as the original Crimzon Ruze. How did I do that? Garnish that with a lime wedge. I got that one done in like record time. Holy shit. And there you have your Crimzon Ruze, aka, and I'm making the bold decision to steal the name back because, well, I made the old one and it sucked. The Crimzon Ruze. Ooh. That is wonderful. Where to start with that? It is sweet and sour so much at the same time, but in a way different than the sours that we made, where it was sour and then sweet. This is all at once. This is like, it doesn't taste like a lemon head, but it's like a lemon head where it's just, ooh, it's a punch in the face. But the rum and the bourbon in there, oh, so sweetly make that drink. Much like in the Her Cosmopolitan, it provides a much needed base, a much needed floor to the cocktail. I'm not a huge fan of a Cosmo because of how thin the flavor is, because it just uses vodka. But this, there is a roundness to it. There is a, in my opinion, completeness to it. But there is still that high-pitched, thin slice all the way at the top of that lime juice and the cranberry flavors coming through. I'm gonna squeeze that in here. What's the worst that could happen? Whoa! That adds a really fun, nice finish to that. That extra little touch of lime juice coming back up right at the very end. I'm not mad at that at all. That's just nice. That's a nice, easy drink. This you could put on a drink menu anywhere, sell gangbusters. It's just enough like a Cosmo that it's really gonna pull those kinds of people in, but it's getting them to drink things that they probably usually wouldn't. It's not a vodka drink, but it doesn't drink like a bourbon drink. It's still very light and easy with all the other flavors being the focus. These just provide a nice flavor flavor enhancer. In a sense, these become the garnish, whereas vodka would just make it stronger, and that's kind of it. Not to shit on the Cosmopolitan, a lot of people like it. It's a great drink, wonderfully well crafted. It is just to my taste, I like a bit more of a body to my drink. Now speaking of that Axel clip that inspired the terrible milkshake, Ruze is in that clip, and despite everything said in that clip, the thing that shocked me the most was that Ruze is also Midwestern. Why did nobody tell me this? Ruze, this is a formal invitation. Come hang out. We can get Culvers and play some D&D. Somebody who shares my birthday can't be a bad person. I feel like I'm supposed to say more about this drink, but quite frankly, it's just good. It's just a good drink. It's hard to say much about it because the only thing my brain says is, yeah, it's good. There's nothing that sticks out like a sore thumb. There's nothing that really pushes or pulls too much. It all just works wonderfully in tandem. It is a Cosmo that you could get a hardened warrior to drink, or your typical Cosmo fan, whoever that might be. Again, we don't judge. We let people drink what they want. If a man wants an appletini, he can have an appletini. If a woman wants a neat bourbon, you bet your ass I'm getting her a neat bourbon. Alcohol does not believe in gender. All it believes in is a good time. Is this working yet? Oh! Oh. Alright, that's working now. Let's finish up the Ruze and then we can actually get to the Axel. The thing that we started tonight's session on. That is beautiful. I really need to stop drinking all of the drinks every night, so I'm gonna try to stop there. We're gonna see how that goes. Because that's just so easy to drink. It's like drinking a juice. It's really nice and sour, but in that very sweet, fun way. And you just can't stop chugging it, dude. The Crimzon Ruze. It looks like it's gonna be a sugary, sweet, cosmopolitan drink, but instead it is a wonderfully balanced, dark, round drink that I'm possibly enjoying a little too much. All right, let's get this smoothie done. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna keep this on the life support. Come on. Oh well, that's good enough to get, hopefully, the rest in. Come on. Okay, it is not enough to get the rest in. After this, Axel is my sworn enemy. Remember in that other segment when I said one blended drink was one too many? This is why. Let's get the rest of the milk and the mezcal in there. It's a little over 2.5, that's fine. Oh, we can fit an ounce of mezcal in there. An ounce might be a lot. A half ounce might be a better idea, but I'm not in the mindset to have better ideas. Yeah! Finally! God damn it. What is stopping this concoction? Maybe I should have just made the smoothie. Why are you red again? Please! I'm losing my mind here. Alright, I'm gonna cut until this works. Alright, that only took about fucking 20 minutes of my blender turning on and off and getting stuck on the frozen mix. But there's enough of something here to say it's something. And that's fucking good enough for me at this point. So, let's get this shit done, shall we? We have our strawberry milkshake with the maggots. We're gonna top it with a little whipped cream. Could the milkshake be thicker? Maybe. It's too late, I don't care. Caramel, that's our piss. A little bit of shit. That's the Axel Syrios. Okay, how does it taste? All things considered, not really that bad. This isn't 100% strawberry. Like I said, that smoothie mix had like banana and grapes and I think pineapple in it. But it's still pretty good. It tastes probably more like a strawberry smoothie than a strawberry milkshake. That's my fault. I'm not gonna hold that against the drink. The mezcal, I really enjoy. I think if you don't love mezcal, go down to just half an ounce. Add a little bit of that smoke. I'm fine with the smoke, so I'm fine with the full ounce. It's pretty good. This isn't even all of it. I gave up on blending pretty much the entire other half of that mix, but there you go. Now it's like flashing orange, but like around. I think it might be overheated. It just broke my blender. Fucking I don't even care anymore, man. I mean, it's good. It's a strawberry milkshake. It's very fruity because of all the other fruits. Make a strawberry milkshake however you want. Put mezcal in it. That's the drink. Like I said, it's not some deep lore-inspired cocktail. This is what he told me to make. If you couldn't tell, I'm still drinking the Ruze though. Well, tonight was extraordinarily frustrating, so allow me to say, hey, thank you so much for watching the video so far. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all of the YouTube things, and become a member. I've listed the reasons all over the place, so I'm not going to say them again, but please consider doing so. It really helps out the channel, and if you can't, that's fine. Just liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing are all very useful. Blah, 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 blah. For as angry as this made me, I mean, I'm still drinking it. It's still tasty. There you go, Axel. A strawberry milkshake with maggots and piss and shit. I hope you're happy. Okay, now that that nightmare is over and I've had time to mentally recuperate, let's get into another rousing night of drinking. Oh, This is the 5th night in a week, and I'm getting kinda tired of drinking. In reality, I don't have that much when I'm not recording. So having to do the 3rd night in a row, let's just get into it. This is another one that we kind of need to hurry up with because once again, it does involve a hot ingredient. This is the Goldbullet. Last time for Goldbullet, I made a drink with some apple cider and it was really, really, really good. And honestly, the apple cider thing felt so fitting that we may or may not be doing it again. But it is still a very different drink from last time. This time I wanted to make a drink that felt more like one that you would have alongside a charcuterie board. Goldbullet, of course, loves to cook, and if his pictures are anything to go off of, he's pretty gosh darn good at it. Couldn't be me. But what could be me is someone who makes a good drink to go alongside those meals. So if you ever want to team up on that, Goldbullet, my DMs are open. I don't know how that would work, but I need to shut up and just make the drink. Now, if you watched my last video, you'd know that I made a toasted marshmallow simple syrup. And to anyone who would say that it's lame to use the same ingredient 2 videos in a row, you clearly haven't tasted this. I was looking for an excuse to use this again. And honestly, pulling back that kind of s'mores-esque aesthetic also feels like it makes sense for Goldbullet. In case you forgot, the very first time we saw Goldbullet, the aesthetic was camping and being out in the field. And where do you have s'mores? Well, if you're me in your house, because outside is scary. But if you're a normal person, outside while you're camping. But it's not gonna be exactly a s'mores drink. We'll get into it. I have measurements for all of this, but we're probably gonna play with it a little bit because I bought some stuff that I didn't initially plan on. I don't know. Tonight's theme is, we'll work it out. I had good ideas for them, don't get me wrong. I put as much effort into them as I did the others. It's just that because I've had more time before I've done these ones, I've had more ideas. And we're gonna see how it works. We'll start on the lower side. 1/4 ounce of that toasted marshmallow syrup. At first it was gonna be 2 ounces of this maple bourbon. Yes, it's making a comeback like the toasted marshmallow syrup from the last video. I'm sorry that they work well together. But my new plan is to only do 1 ounce. And then I thought it'd be fun to finally break into something that I haven't yet on the channel, brandy. Brandy is a kind of grape liqueur, and if you look back at old recipes, you'll find that a lot of drinks used brandy and cognac. You don't really see those as much anymore, but it's got this kind of nice appley, grapey flavor that I think is gonna work really well in here. Let's see. Oh my god. 2 ounces of Black Walnut Bitters. If I could recommend to you 2 types of non-traditional bitters, obviously you should have Angostura, obviously you should have orange, rhubarb, and black walnut. You should probably also have some chocolate bitters. Goes in a lot of stuff too. But those are the 2. Am I right? Oh my god. I may not be a chef, but I'm cooking. Is it still hot? Yes. So we are going to top it off with some hot cider and garnish it with a dried apple. And there you have your Goldbullet. Oh. That's oh, that just warms the heart and the soul. I think I nailed it. If I could have cheese and nuts right now, my doctor told me not to. Long story. I would. This would make an incredible charcuterie beverage. Everything together, as you saw me taste and enjoy, was already a fantastic start. It is a rich, beautiful, sweet, flavorful combination. Those things alone would make a fantastic cocktail. Adding the apple cider on top, that turns it into just warmth incarnate. It is a beverage built on a campfire in October. It's not quite cold yet. You're starting to get there. At night, you might have a light hoodie on, fire's roaring, and this is just spilling all over the place. Everything in there is playing off of each other to create just this wonderful depth that is very distinct from the way the Hakka was. That was a very round, sugary depth, and this is much more of that almost savory depth. It's still sweet, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's cider, toasted marshmallow sugar syrup, and brandy and bourbon. This is a very sweet drink in theory, but in practice, it's not reminding me of dessert. It's reminding me of a barn party. Now, I say barn party in that I'm not inside the party because I'm me. I'm outside by the campfire drinking this delicious, delicious cider. I can't shake that image. Sitting next to a fire in the fall with a nice warm mug. It's perfect. That is the exact sensation that this tastes like. It starts sweet for the briefest moment and then gets into that almost bitter territory and then comes back to a cider sweetness. I want to say it starts and ends with the brandy. Goes into the toasted marshmallow second, then into the black walnut bitterness aided by the maple bourbon and the cider. I lied, I think the toasted marshmallow is kind of in the whole thing. I'm almost tempted to put more of all of this in here. Maybe I put too much cider in. I think I might do it. I know I said I needed to drink less, but it's just so good. We're gonna double the bourbon to make that 2 ounces and the toasted marshmallow. So we're gonna make that ½ an ounce. I think the brandy we have the right amount of, and the black walnut we're good on. Whoa. Well, that's completely different. Okay, that's a lot brighter. I think that's the recipe you should go for, which sucks because I just spent so long talking about the other one. Like I said, tonight's theme, we'll work it out. That is a lot better. Not a lot better, but I think it's better. It is sweeter. You're getting a lot more of the maple and the toasted marshmallow. It's bringing it more out of October and into September, where the nights can still be chilly enough that you'd like to have a warm drink, but it's still summer, so you're toasting those marshmallows and enjoying that. That's where I think this is starting to live. And I like September. It's a great month. Some great people were born then. I think there's something to be said that the apples I bought are honey infused. I think there's a little bit of that honey in there. So maybe if you don't have these exact honey infused dried apples, put just the tiniest bit of honey in there. That might help. I'm personally not a huge honey guy, so I'm not gonna go buy honey and do that. That's another long story for a different video. Oh, that's the one. The maple is so much more forward now. It's really working within the bounds of that apple cider. And I forgot to mention this. First idea I had was I wanted to use the syrup again, obviously. I felt that fit. And then I thought of the apple cider because that's what I used last time. And I thought, you know, there's no reason that those two flavors shouldn't go together. But I've never seen anyone do it. I've never heard of a drink, a pie, a food, anything that is apple and toasted marshmallow. And I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm a dumbass. But what I do know is that it does work, just like I thought. I keep saying I'm tired of drinking, and then I keep wanting to down every single thing I make. Again, I think I nailed it. I think this would go great alongside a charcuterie board. Imagining some nuts and some cheese alongside this, some crackers, a little bit of meat, something more savory. This is a really nice palate cleanser, like the way that people will use wine. Wine is not a neutral thing. It's not like you're drinking water to get rid of that taste. You're drinking something opposite, but still complementary. Red wine is sweet. White wine, while being a lot more dry, is still sweet. So having a sweet drink that has those hints of savory, those hints of bitter, but is still very much a sweet and complementary profile. You have maple infused meat, you have grapes with cheese, you have apples with cheese. Grapes and apples tend to be on a charcuterie board too. This is a wonderfully different alternative that I would highly recommend. If you're ever having a charcuterie board outside next to a campfire, then you've hit all the points. This would be the greatest drink you've ever had in your life in that exact moment. And I do gotta give a shout out to Goldbullet specifically, because I remember several of the other guys commenting on the first video. He actually posted his recipe and said that he was gonna try it. I don't know if he ever did. Goldbullet, if you did, please let me know. I wanna know what you think of that. And if you happen to make this, I would love to know what you think of this too. You know what you're doing in the kitchen a lot better than I do, so this should be a cinch for you to make. If you wanna know exactly how I did it, you can DM me. I'm just talking to Goldbullet now and not the viewers of this video. That's fucking delicious. Oh, I didn't give this an alternative name. Did I also call the last one the Goldbullet? Golden Hour. Not Golden Shower. That's very different. Golden Hour is exactly what this kind of represents. That beautiful moment of sunset is exactly how this drink feels. You're starting up the fire, you're starting to get comfortable. The night is starting to cool down just right. This is the Golden Hour. Remember when I said I was gonna stop finishing these drinks? Please drink responsibly. All right, we are 7 for 7. Let's see if this next drink can keep up the streak. And finally, our last alcoholic drink. This is the Octavio. Octavio is a wonderful and fabulous musician. I don't think anybody's gonna argue against that. And so as I was thinking about Octavio and being the son of 2 music teachers, of course that's where my mind started to go. There's not really a lot of music-themed cocktails, however. But what there is a connection between cocktails and jazz, the 2 wholly original American art forms. And as an American, that's where my mind went. The Goldbullet may have got me a little more tipsy than I thought it did. So this section is gonna be interesting. So, with jazz in mind, I went back to that book, Imbibe, which again, for some reason, I didn't bring in here, even though I knew I was gonna reference it. And so I went back in time to find a cocktail that felt like it fit Octavio, and much like last time, I wanted it to be something that felt more high class, classical, light, crisp flavors, but I still wanted to keep the blueberry, because I like the idea of that blue and Octavio, but find a way to make it light blue. But I didn't want to make another blueberry vodka martini. That was another one that very much felt like you could tell I didn't know what I was doing, but it did put me down the path of putting dry vermouth in my martinis, so for that, I thank it. But hey, sins of the past. What is not the past is now. What is that statement? And speaking of now, trying to find some way to transition out of that awful statement. As I said in a previous segment, it was recently the Kentucky Derby, and the Kentucky Derby is tied to a very specific cocktail, which I made a short about that you should go watch if you haven't, the mint julep. And so, even though it might not have been then, I'm sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head the historical context. I've read it like 5 times, but I'm clearly a little tipsy, so please cut me some slack. But these days, it is seen as more of a high-class thing. It's something you have at the Kentucky Derby, which is presented as a high-class event, and certainly costs that much now. But through that, I wanted to revisit the idea of the julep or the smash. The smash just basically being a shorter julep, and making it in that much more classical way. And by that, I mean, we're not gonna use syrup, we're just gonna put the blueberries straight into the tin. Old cocktails aren't really an exact science. Next, I'm gonna do half an ounce of hibiscus syrup, followed by, I think this is the right decision. This is where we're really getting into the jazz, the free form, trying to figure this out as we go. I am riffing at this point. I thought about it on the drive home, and I thought it was gonna be a good idea, so we're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna do half an ounce of lemon juice. Now initially this was just gonna be blueberry and hibiscus, but again, I just wanted to start riffing. Who doesn't like a julep with some mint? The answer is a lot of people. A lot of people don't like a mint julep, and I think they're crazy. A mint julep is fine. I wouldn't call it the best cocktail I've ever had, but it's completely fine. I think one of the main issues people have with it is that it's just mint, simple syrup, and bourbon. I think with the other things in here, it's gonna taste good. I also should have said that was, I don't know, like 10 mint leaves. Again, we're not doing an exact science here. Finally, we're gonna do 2 ounces of Bombay Sapphire, because the color of the bottle more or less matches the color of Octavio. That was the entire idea for why I wanted to use Bombay Sapphire. Though it is a very citrus forward gin, so I think it's gonna work really well in here. And now I need ice. Now we are going to give this a light shake because you want to break up the blueberries and get the oil off of the mint as if you were muddling them, but shaking it with the ice is going to do more or less the same thing while also mixing the lemon juice and the hibiscus syrup better. You just don't want to do it too hard because you don't want to bruise the mint and then that will make too much flavor go in there. I don't know if that's even really a thing. Now you get your julep cup, which we all obviously own, and do a nice little double strain. You want to double strain it because those broken up blueberries are going to have really tiny seeds that you don't really want to get in there. Or if mint leaves happen to get through there, this will catch it. Let's get this on camera. Look at that. And remember the saying, always trust a drunk man with a hammer. Now we're going to add our crushed ice to our cup and garnish with a sprig of mint and a few blueberries. And yes, that is a completely normal garnish. They used to just put whatever the fuck fruits on top. And there you have your Octavio, aka the Puppeteer's Julep. 8 for 8, baby! It's really good! The blueberry and the hibiscus work phenomenally well together. I'll admit, it was an idea that I took from Topo Chico, so if you're really lazy and you want to basically have this drink, buy that, put some Bombay Sapphire in it. You're most of the way there, but the lemon and the mint are counteracting them in this fantastic way. It is a battle of light and dark in that drink. The lemon juice and the mint are these crisp flavors, while the hibiscus and the blueberry are these rich flavors. And the gin is that bridge in between. You can feel both sides pulling the gin in both directions, wanting to take it over, but neither side giving an inch. And it creates this fantastic fight in your mouth. Fight, again, seems like a very negative word to say here, but it just works. It just works. You seesaw back and forth between this crisp, refreshing drink and this sweet candy flavor. If the Goldbullet was autumn by a campfire, this is spring and summer, down at the racetrack, at brunch. This is something you want to have on a hot day, wearing a big brimmed hat, living your best fancy life, drinking at noon. No one can stop you, because no one can afford to. That just says high class to me. That says high society. That says I'm going to the show after, I'm going to the orchestra. Or I am from the orchestra, I'm a showgirl, I'm a lead actor in a musical. It's the 1910s, we went to the bar afterwards. I think the 1910s might be a little late for the julep. Outside of the mint julep at Churchill Downs, it kind of died out. When did it die out? It's definitely the late 1800s, that's for sure. I'll look it up and I'll put the answer right here. I know that the julep used to be gin or brandy or cognac or rum, and then somehow it became tied to bourbon and whiskey, but there's clearly nothing wrong with still making a gin julep. This is fantastic. This is the complete antithesis to the Goldbullet. This is a wonderfully cold, refreshing, revitalizing drink, whereas the Goldbullet was very much a hot, comforting, calming drink. This is what you want in the beating sun. Another one I'm probably gonna finish. If you couldn't tell, I can't stop drinking it. Every flavor is there and is individual, which I think is so unique. Usually I say they blend or they flow from one to the other, but this is one of those drinks where everything is living on its own, but together in perfect harmony. Whichever element you think of, that's what you're gonna taste the most of, but you're still gonna feel the other four in the background. And I really love that kind of drink. And I feel like I often say that the base spirit is either the base of the drink, it's that floorboard holding up all the other flavors, or I'll say that it's the star attraction. This, however, is something I feel like I rarely say. It is the connective tissue. That's usually some other ingredient in the drink, something that ties everything together. But the gin here is sweet enough as to accommodate the blueberry and the hibiscus, but crisp enough to facilitate the lemon and the mint. And so without it, I feel like this drink would just be abrasive. It would be too much going on all at the same time, but somehow adding something to too much makes it just enough. It makes all the flavors behave themselves. This is what links one flavor into the next as you go throughout the whole process. That is fucking wonderful. Oh my god. Also, because I'm paranoid, I feel like I need to say, if it feels like these later sections are going a lot faster and I'm not saying as much about the talents themselves, that is not indicative of anything other than the fact that this is day 4 of recording. I'm getting better at going quickly, which I said I was gonna do, but also, I'm sorry if it feels like certain things are slipping through the cracks. But again, I promise you, that is not indicative of my opinions on any of the members of Holostars, because, quite frankly, the quality of each of these drinks speaks for themselves. If you try any one of them, I feel like that will show the amount of care and effort that I put into them. Even into Axel's joke milkshake. It fulfilled the requirements and was a decent cocktail. And so yes, I'm sorry if people feel like as this video has gone on, their Ope-shi has not gotten as much time as the others, but understand, I've also been editing the video throughout this process, and the first 4 drinks are almost the entire length of the original video. So when I said I was gonna try and make these sections shorter, you'll see that I'm trying more as the video goes on. String theory. Fucking duh. This is the string that ties all the drinks together. That was sitting right in front of me the whole time. Kids, don't drink and record, okay? You'll forget obvious jokes. That is so much better than the original Octavio. The blueberry Scooby-Doo fruit snack. That's what it kind of tastes like. That light blue, crisp flavor. That's what you should think of. I'm just remembering everything now. Okay, that's all for tonight. Thankfully tomorrow is the 2 mocktails, and I am very looking forward to not having to drink anymore. I will see you then. And here we are at our final 2 members of the Holostars, and the night of mocktails. Thank God. I was getting kinda tired of drinking. Having the excuse to not do that, honestly very exciting for once. Now, if you remember in that last segment, I said I'm trying to make these go a lot quicker, and to please not let that make you think I care less, because these 2 are definitely gonna be the fastest, because I already made them. Here we have the Jurard T Rexford and the Regis Altare. To explain how one got made more or less means explaining how the other got made, so these 2 are kind of lumped together, but we'll get into the specifics of each one in a minute. But the obvious joint factor is that both of these are gelatin, sort of. While thinking about the Regis Altare, I thought back to my Monster Hunter video, which had a couple couple mocktails in it, and a lot of the drinks from that Monster Hunter bar had blue jello at the bottom. And I thought it would be fun to bring that back, do something with blue jello as an allusion to the Alt Venturer slimes. And that color did come out more or less perfect. I am very happy with that. We will get there though. And then while thinking about the Jurard T Rexford, I got a short that reminded me of him being Filipino. So I asked my Filipino friend, hey, what's something from there that's popular that I could maybe try to incorporate? And she said, why not do gulaman? I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. Either way, shout out to Maria, thank you. And me being a Midwestern white man, I obviously immediately had to look up what is gulaman, and I found out that it's a kind of gelatin. And I didn't know that I had already heard about this gelatin substitute because here in the West it is more commonly referred to as agar-agar. I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not. If any of you remember agar.io, based on the agar dishes that you probably used in high school science, it's that. It's a type of plant-based gelatin made with red algae and therefore makes a good vegan gelatin substitute. And so with that, I went, well, I was already going to use jello for the other mocktail, so why not do it for both? And thus, our two drinks were born. Well, drinks is a bit generous. This one's a lot more of a dessert. And the whipped cream is melting. So let's start with the Regis Altare. And don't worry, I do have some footage of me making it that I will intersperse here. Now I have quite a few of these, proportion accordingly to what I'm about to say. I heated up the 4 cups of water with 4 teaspoons of agar-agar. I added half a cup of this orange blueberry syrup, the one that we used for the Shinri, because it's just really, really good. I did have to cheat a little bit and add some blue food dye, but then finally added in about 2/3 of this tub of Cool Whip because I was told by the internet that it would somehow separate, and so there would have been like a dark blue normal jello layer and then a layer of this on top. That didn't happen. I don't know what I did wrong. It's almost certainly my fault, but you live and you learn. I think it looks better this way anyway. And then finally, when I poured them into this container, I added a handful of blueberries. That is delicious. It's very light and crisp in flavor, which is what I wanted. I wanted something that felt like that original Regis Altare, something that was very light and airy and crisp and refreshing, but obviously I needed a mocktail, which ended up being a dessert, but you can definitely taste that little hint of the orange and blueberry syrup in there, alongside the wonderful creaminess of the Cool Whip, and that blueberry tanginess is in there too. That's a good dessert. You could probably add a little bit more of the syrup. It's not the strongest flavor, but why do I have 2 of them? Well, that's because I wasn't 100% confident in my cooking skills, and so in 2 of them, I muddled some mint in it and then poured it, just because I thought maybe the mint would go well in here. It does. Do that. Do that. Oh, that's really good. I wish I had done the mint in all of them. Oh, that's so good. Muddle the mint in there and then strain it out. That is so much more refreshing and delicious. The mint really blasts through. It's not overpowering, but it is still pungent enough that it is fighting off the harder gelatin. Now, maybe I added too much agar-agar and that's why it is so hard. Okay, I'm stupid. Probably my fault. Oh, they just add such an interesting depth to it by adding, interestingly enough, a shallowness to it. That mint is so crisp and cutting. That one's a lot better. I'm gonna say that right now. Do the mint. Who knew slimes tasted so good? Now with Jurard being a gun-wielding bounty hunter and the idea of a mocktail and gelatin, well obviously I had to make jello shots. And I made 6 of them because it's like a 6-shooter. I actually made a lot more worth, but we're gonna ignore that. This one was fairly simple. Instead of the water, I just heated up ginger beer and then added in a splash of grenadine, because I'll admit, the Jurard last time was also one of the ones that I wasn't super excited by. It was just a spicy Bloody Mary. There wasn't really anything that special about it. But I did love that idea of adding spice to it, and so wanted to think of a different way to do so, and thought of sparkling jello shots, and one of my favorite spicy beverages, if you can really kind of call ginger beer that. Let's see if I can get this out of here. Oh god. It was good for the aesthetic, but I don't think I'm getting this out. Oh my god. Oh, that's delicious though. Ugh. I did say it was a shot. Oh, okay. That is spicy. Oh my god. That has a little spice to it. Who knew boiling off everything else in the ginger beer would make the ginger more spicy? Did I mention I'm not a cook? The grenadine is serving to make it a nice sweet dessert. If you want it more red and more sweet, you probably do more grenadine than I did. I think that's kind of the lesson I've learned is more syrup, more grenadine, if you really want that flavor. I guess the agar-agar kind of needs it. I didn't know. I'm learning. But what I do know is that these are both really good and have potential in the hands of someone who is a lot better at this than I am. I also got the agar-agar because I can apparently apparently use this for like clarifying cocktails, so it was a win-win for me. I didn't know that it was going to be so thick though. It's a really thick gelatin, so be prepared for that. It's not like typical Jello where it's really soft. That's just really tasty. It's hard to wax poetic about it because it is grenadine and ginger beer at the end of the day. The ginger has a really good kick to it though. Fever Tree is my favorite brand of ginger beer at the moment. There might be others out there that I might like more. I don't know. For now, I'm going to say get Fever Tree. Plus, given kind of what I'm looking at, one of these small bottles might be enough to fill all 6 Jello shots. You might need 1.5. I used 2, and that gave me this much extra, so maybe 1.5 would be good. That color just turned out so perfect. I am obsessed with that. I'm sorry, I can't stop looking at it. That is the exact shade of the slimes. Really kind of nailed that one. The Cool Whip is what really makes it that color, and is really good in there. It's so creamy and tasty. On the mint! And Jurard's. This feels weird doing 2 at the same time, but it's hard not to. As far as finding a way to turn a mocktail into a shot, let alone a Jello shot, I think that's probably one of the best you're gonna get. The ginger beer is really adding a fun kick to it that is replacing the alcohol in this case. You're not getting strong from alcohol, you're getting strong from spice, which is, in my opinion, equally as fun. I think it's a really interesting take on the Jello shot, is a fun way to include anybody that you know who might not drink. Dare I say, pretty proud of myself for those 2. I think those are really neat. Flavor-wise, design-wise, color-wise, I try to be a humble guy, but 10 for 10. I think that this video might be my magnum opus. This might be the best set of drinks that I have made so far. Every single one hit in its own way and exactly how I wanted it to, and I can't think of a better place for this to have happened than remaking a Holostars video. The first Holostars video is what launched my passion for this, is what showed me how much fun all of this can be, how much fun you all can have with it. It changed the entire trajectory of my channel in an instant. It was a blast to do and a blast to share with you, and this video has been just as fun, if not more fun. Every drink has been so good, has been something I will almost certainly make again. Okay, maybe not the Axel Syrios, but I still figured out something to do with his insane idea, and for that, I'm still proud of it. And so I would like to say to Altare, to Jurard, to Octavio, to Goldbullet, to Ruze, to Axel, to Bettel, to Hakka, to Shinri, to Flayon, thank you for everything that you have given all of us. To the entertainment, to the inspiration, to the smiles, thank you. I hope that this video was able to show even an ounce of that gratitude. I worked hard to make sure that each drink felt like a true representation, and I'd like to think that I kinda did that. I don't know, I can't speak for them, obviously. I can only speak for myself when I say, at the very least, they're all pretty tasty, and hey, that's really kind of the most you can ask out of a cocktail video. And so one last time, thank you all so much for watching. I obviously and clearly had a great time filming it, and I would love to hear what you all thought. If you try any of these drinks, please let me know down below. If you want me to do more cocktail videos on VTubers, please let me know down below which group you think I should do next. Ideally, not a group with 10 people. This video was way too long. And if you somehow made it this far and haven't yet, please like, comment, and subscribe, do all of the YouTube things, and while you're at it, please consider becoming a member where you'll get access to early videos, extended videos, bonus videos, all of my stream VODs, and the Steve Sky Cocktail Guide, which will have all of these recipes conveniently listed alongside just about every other drink that I've made on the channel and a few that I've made off the channel. So thank you again so much for watching. Now go watch some Holostars.